Good morning. Jacob here. I am reading from Psalm 10 today from the scriptures and sharing a few insights with you. I hope you're blessed and I hope you get something out of this. Um, yeah, jump right into Psalm 10. Um, I tend to think it's a psalm that David is the author, although we don't know, because of a few descriptions of detailed descriptions of what a lion is, and also some writing style that I've noticed in verse 12 and in other psalms written by David, notably chapter 7. And so that's my uh, bias, call it, of I believe it's a psalm of David as well. But don't take my word for it. Do your own study. But here's Psalm 10, and I'll read Psalm 10 and then share a few things that I've been chewing on, and I'll spit them out at you. So I hope you get something out of this. Psalm 10. Why do you stand afar off, O Lord? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? In pride, the wicked hotly pursue the afflicted. Let them be caught in the plots which they have devised. For the wicked boasts of his heart's desire, and the greedy man curses and spurns the Lord. The wicked, in the haughtiness of his countenance, does not seek him. All his thoughts are, there is no God. His ways prosper at all times. Your judgments are on high, out of his sight. As for his adversaries, he snorts at them. He says to himself, I will not be moved. Throughout all generations, I will not be in adversity. His mouth is full of curses and deceit and oppression. Under his tongue is mischief and wickedness. He sits in the lurking places of the villages. In the hiding places he kills the innocent. His eyes stealthily watch for the unfortunate. He lurks in a hiding place as a lion in his lair. He lurks to catch the afflicted. He catches the afflicted when he draws him into his net. He crouches, he bows down, and the unfortunate fall by his mighty ones. He says to himself, God has forgotten. He has hidden his face, he will never see it. Arise, O Lord, lift up your hand. Do not forget the afflicted. Why has the wicked spurned God? He has said to himself, you will not require it. You have seen it, for you have beheld mischief and vexation, and take it into your hand. The unfortunate commits himself to you. You have been the helper of the orphan. Break the arm of the wicked and the evildoer. Seek out his wickedness until you find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. Nations have perished from his land. O Lord, you have heard the desire of the humble. You will strengthen their heart. You will incline your ear to vindicate the orphan and the oppressed, so that man who is of the earth will no longer cause terror. It's a beautiful psalm, and it's no doubt written from a keen mind and somebody who has great discernment, um, and who's really taken the time to watch. And it's a description here of the characteristics of the wicked, and how and to watch out for them. Um, Again, while I think it's a Psalm of David as the author, I can't be sure. And but I do think that because of the great description of a lion, somebody who's studied a lion and how a lion acts and lives and breathes and thinks. And in verse 1, it speaks to me. It says, why do you stand afar off, O Lord? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? That's a very fair question, and it's a great question. Today, with all the evil and all the attacks and all the stuff going on around us in the world, and rumors of wars, uh, and the unrest and the political jargon, and all the evil, and the national debt, and the murders and trains falling off the tracks, and famines, and just insubordination, and things are out of control in so many areas, in so many ways. I mean, abortion clinics. I just saw the other day that the government is providing aid to Planned Parenthood to help with abortions, and And I also saw a video the other day of people signing a petition um, to 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 abort babies after they've been birthed, and it's it's evil. It's just it's not it's against the way that God designed. God is a he's a giver of life, and he's for life, and he's not against it. And so and we know in John 10:10 it says the enemy came to steal, kill, and destroy, and that's the pattern of the wicked. That's the pattern of the enemy of God, is destruction and despair and to steal, kill, and destroy. And God did not come to do that. He came to give life and give it to abundantly. He's a creator. He creates life. And uh, keeping going on here, uh, uh, this is something the psalmist in Psalm 10 is witnessing. And in verse 4 it says, um, the wicked in the haughtiness of his countenance does not seek him, and all his thoughts are, there is no God. The wicked live as if there is no God. And they live as if, over and over in the psalm, I call it living as if God isn't there, living as if God isn't going to call them to account, living as if they won't have to face the judgment seat of Christ. And they live as if God is not there. And this is a real description of how the wicked act. And I'd say even more than that, I'd say how the strong, the phrase only the strong survive. That's not true. But I think he's describing the strong wicked and how they act like a lion, or in this case, in verse 5 and 6, he says, describing the wicked, he says, as for all his adversaries, he snorts at them. He says to himself, I will not be moved. Okay, that to me is a description of a bull with big horns, standing in the middle of the street, not moving for anyone or anything, and snorting at anything that comes in its way. That's a strong bull. And we know that the wicked, we know that out of the heart the mouth speaks. And in verse 7 is the description of what spills out of the mouth of the wicked. It says, his mouth is full of curses and deceit and oppression. Love builds up. Love encourages. Love is something that is beneficial to all. And here it's describing what comes out of the wicked: curses, deceit, oppression, and under his tongue is mischief and wickedness. And then I love verse 8, 9, and 10, because this is a warning and some wisdom for us believers to look out for. It's a beautiful description of what a lion acts, and that's another reason why I think I believe this is the writer of this psalm is David. But that neither here nor there. We need to study these verses here. It's describing the strong wicked. He sits in the lurking places of the villages. In the hiding places, he kills the innocent. His eyes stealthily watch for the unfortunate. He lurks in the hiding place as a lion in his lair. He lurks to catch the afflicted. He catches the afflicted when he draws him into his net. He crouches, he bows down, and the unfortunate fall by his mighty ones. He says to himself, God has forgotten. He has hidden his face. He will never see it. We know that the enemy prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And we need to be alert and sharp and aware of where the lions are in our life. When I first moved back into Idaho about a year ago, I was in need of a vehicle for transportation and for work. And I walked into a loan facility downtown Nampa, and I walked in, and the secretary, bless her heart, she says, you don't want to get a loan here. And I said, oh, why is that? And she said, well, it's 36% interest. She was actually acting as a human and looking out for my best interests, and not letting me fall into this trap. I probably wouldn't have done it anyway, but she's she was loving me and looking out for me. But who can afford 36% interest? Not even the wealthy would do that. It's a facility like this. It's sitting in the city streets. It's hiding and it's crouching, and it's looking to get the poor, the oppressed, the people that don't have money, the people that need to get money just to survive, just to eat, just to go to work, and it traps them into 36% interest. Who can get out of that? And it's just a vicious cycle that catches people, and it's terrible for society. It's terrible, and um, and that's a situation of how I see it, what a modern day lion looks like around us. Um, and all throughout Psalm 10, it's describing how the wicked live as if there is no God. Um, and then David continues to pray for the describe what the Lord does. He's the helper of the orphan, and he asks in verse 15. He says, "Break the arm of the wicked and the evildoer. Seek out his wickedness until you find none." Break his arm, slow him down. Uh, don't allow him to trample on orphans and widows and the oppressed and the needy. And um, and and it's just a beautiful psalm. And again, I tend to think it's a psalm of David, but it's a beautiful description. I love the the physical analogies of a lion and a roaring lion, and how he acts, and how that's very comparable to the wicked. So yeah, I hope you get something out of that today. And oh, one last thing, verse 14. Uh, it says describing what the Lord sees. It says, "You have seen it, for you have beheld mischief and vexation, and to take it into your hand." And I picture a father or something taking control of a situation and going, "Okay, I'm going to handle this situation." And I think David or whoever the writer is of the psalm can identify with that picture of God taking over and making things in any situation right. When God takes it into his hand, he's gonna deal with it. He's gonna fix it, and I love that because God is a God of order. And one day soon, everything will be put in its place, and all of humanity and the whole world and everything in it. And it's going to be a beautiful, 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 beautiful scene for those who've received Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. So I hope you're blessed. You can get something out of it this morning. And yeah, I'm going to keep reading and keep sharing, interpreting how my view of the scriptures. And I encourage you to do your own study as well. And yeah, God bless, and talk to you soon.